Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. We're now going straight into episode number 2. Episode number 2, we're going to be talking tournaments. England have appeared in numerous tournaments over the years. We're going to pick just 5. So the top 5 England tournaments as voted by the goal hanging panel.
Yeah. So we did our top 5s, and then we kind of, by a series of mathematical equations, added the points up, mixed them around. We let Michelle jump in on this, being a regular guest as well. So some of her influence will be sprinkled around here. But yeah, I'm excited to go through these.
Yeah. So coming in at number 5, we had the World Cup of 2002. 2002. Do you remember it, boys?
I do.
I do. This was actually the tournament that got me into actually watching football.
Oh, nice. So it's always going to have that.
Yeah, I was a bit of a. I think because I was quite like hyperactive as a kid, and I didn't have a great attention span. So when I was proper young, I couldn't really focus watching loads of football. But I remember it was the England-Argentina game, and my dad was watching it, and I was just home one day, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll give this a watch. Why not?" And then literally. I mean, I'd sort of followed, like football a little bit up to that point, but it was that moment where I actually was like, I'm in now.
I think it is though. World Cups are what drags you in. And Euros as well, obviously. But World Cup tournaments are just like, because you see the casual fans, like obviously 2018, just the amount of casual fans that got involved.
Yeah,
especially once England are doing good, and we were decent in 2002 as well.
Yeah, it was great. And I just remember, that tournament just being brilliant. I ended up watching not just England games, but obviously all the other games that were on, and off the back of that following season, started going over to West Ham with my dad and my brother and stuff. So that tournament definitely holds a big special place for my sort of memory as an England fan, as a football fan in general.
So it basically went from disappointment as an England fan to
West Ham fan to literally relegation.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. Was that when you had like the team that were too good to go down as well?
Yep. Right. So that's good that you stuck through it. At the time, I
was like, this is great.
I just learned about football. Similar really. I think 98 is where I really, as far as World Cups go, really got into it. 2002, obviously being the next one, was just same sort of thing. Amazing memories. I guess a lot of it's going to be sentimental, and a lot of these big competitions from before we're born might not get as much of a shout for that, and definitely. Certain players as well. But so there's going to be obvious little bit of bias here. Yeah, we're trying to cover obviously that history segment in the beginning helps that, but. Even the kits, 2002 kit. Yeah. We've got behind us. It is a great kit. Which now I think if they did a big red stripe now, people would be like, "Oh, big red stripe," because it's quite different. But at the time, I didn't know that it was that different. So I loved it, man. I loved everything about that tournament.
The away kit was great that year as well.
Yeah, we haven't got that.
But I remember that being.
It was one of my memories. I guess we'll touch on obviously us exiting that competition. Was it the quarterfinals against Brazil?
It was, yeah.
Quarters, yeah. So I remember watching that in school. So we went to the same school. Did you ever go when they had the screenings at school?
I watched. There was the England-Nigeria game.
Yeah.
Which I remember they actually showed it in the theatre at school.
So I watched Brazil-England in the theatre at school. So me and Dan went to the same school. Bit of context there. But we didn't really know each other at this point. It was about a year after.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
So I was wondering if you was in the same room as me, basically, when we got knocked out. Is why I was asking. Because I remember we had a breakfast club in our school, which was, as Dan can attest to, was amazing.
That was brilliant, and it was free.
It was free. It was amazing food, and basically, I remember because obviously it was South Korea and Japan, and I remember being in so they opened up the theatre.
Because their 3 o'clock kickoffs were like 7 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we came into school early. Yeah. They opened up breakfast club. We had 3 sausage rolls, little pizza slices, whatever else, bacon rolls, and then went into the theatre, which makes it sound like we went to a posh school, not like theatre. Like it's where you did drama, basically.
I didn't get to this size by eating salads.
So we went into the theatre. And watched that game, which again was a good game. Good, obviously it didn't work out too well for us in the end with Seaman, sadly. Being the keeper to make that little stumble, but being an Arsenal fan as well. But great memories, man. I remember sitting there eating my sausage roll and really enjoying that. And I remember that year as well. I must have been 13. Yeah, I must have just turned 13. Yeah.
14
I remember like back then, because obviously Beckham had wild hair, like, and I remember even in like '96 people did this as well because of Gaza, but like spraying their heads with like the St George's cross, you know, that little red. I remember doing like that.
Photos of us like that.
Yeah, I remember being around like, and obviously like Red Mohawk a few years later with Ljungberg as well. But yeah, great memories, man. I love that competition.
Yeah, I think like touching on what you were saying, but like especially with school and stuff. Like I remember, I think our school just sort of sent letters home saying if you want to stay home in the morning, like come in late to watch the game.
That's mad, isn't it? Like, that's amazing. That school did that.
Yeah, and I remember just waking up, watching the Brazil game, and obviously you know what happened. But like even then, it wasn't too. I remember it sucked obviously getting knocked out because I thought we actually looked really good in that tournament. I think we beat Denmark 3-0 in like the first knockout game, but. Obviously, Brazil was such a good team, so you kind of didn't mind that they were the ones that knocked you out.
I think a lot of these kind of knockouts, in like even up to 2006 with Portugal, it's like we were as good as we were. When you look back at it, we should have won something. We came up against some amazing teams. I mean, like, to get Brazil then.
Yeah, and I think as well that's one I think for a lot of people, given you know for David Beckham especially beating Argentina and being the one to score the penalty, given what happens. You know, in the previous World Cup and with the red cards.
I think that tournament cemented David Beckham as like England hero.
Yeah, it was a big redemption for him, and like you said, it cemented himself as the. Not to mention what he'd done in qualifying, which obviously we'll talk about later. Yeah. But one thing that sticks in my memory is when I think like the day before, the morning of the Argentina game, because I think it was on a weekend. And like the news on in the morning, like they were making a point to say how big of a deal the game was, and it was just a news reporter like in the middle of Trafalgar Square, and like no one was around. Like everyone was watching the England-Argentina game. You haven't really had that. I don't think you really had that of England up until very recently.
Yeah, it started to come back.
But yeah, and I just think overall it was a great tournament. I think like and just off England slightly, you had like the whole thing with. I think France didn't qualify out their groups. I think Italy.
Yeah, and they were defending champs, weren't
they? Yeah, and then you had like the Italy South Korea doing as well as they did. And the Italy South Korea game, which was controversial for many reasons.
Yeah. And Brazil being on top of
Brazil, which is a great
Ronaldo's last. Is it like Ronaldo's? It would have been Ronaldo's last World Cup.
No, this is like second to last.
Did he do 2006 as well?
I believe so. Yeah, but he was. Yeah, he finished top scorer that tournament, and he was just.
Yeah,
he was unplayable.
And that was a redemption for his '98, where in the final, whatever happened, we don't, who knows why he didn't play. Oh, we did play, but who knows what was going on with the illness and whatever was going on. But a lot of conspiracies about that. But maybe we'll talk about that one day.
You guys have pretty much like covered all my notes.
Oh, sorry, man.
Sorry,
yeah, what do you want to say?
That's all right. No, it's fine, man. I'm happy. You got less work for me. But. So for that tournament, 2002, go.
So all chipping.
Could have taken your last note now.
I was just going off what Scott said about David. With David Seaman, obviously the goal against Brazil and stuff. I do remember watching that. So I think literally it might have been about 10-20 minutes before that happened. I remember I think he fell awkwardly and injured his back.
Yeah.
Remember? And I remember like at the time thinking like, it looked quite bad. And I think David James was on the bench. It was like, is it not? Is it not? I remember thinking at the time, is it not worth bringing him off? Because I remember he was walking quite dodgily and stuff, and even at goal kicks they look quite ropey. So obviously when that free kick,
and he's Barnett.
Yeah, I didn't help either. But obviously when that ball sort of loops over and you see, I do sort of back and wonder if
because I saw
if he had been taken, if Ericsson had been brave enough to take him off and put James in, would he have dealt with that? Could anything?
Well, you've done that. I saw an interview of Seaman talking about it actually, where he was obviously talking about it being like horrible. Yeah. But we forget it was in his mention it was Ronaldinho and he was about to become the biggest star in the world as well. So
that was the summer it was before he moved to Barcelona, wasn't it? I think he was still at PSG when he did that.
Because there was that rumour about Man United at one point as well, wasn't there?
They were close to getting him, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he had enough good players back then. So.
Well, we made do with Kleber, so it's fine. So World Cup 2002, for context, just to shorten down what we've basically covered already. So the hosts of the World Cup were Japan and South Korea. It was the first World Cup that was hosted in Asia as well. And
we felt
the only one.
Just like the Rugby World Cup this year has been similar kind of.
Exactly, yeah.
Wait, one of the beginner footballers just fell over. Who was that?
Tim Flowers.
Tim Flowers.
Goalkeeper.
He's had a few.
Goalkeeper having a dive.
He was trying to catch a mystery ball.
So, memorable moments from this tournament, as we've said. The holders, France. So, France obviously winning the World Cup 4 years previously. They got knocked out in the group stages without even scoring a goal.
Didn't score a goal?
They didn't even score a goal.
Wow.
No. Argentina were also eliminated in the group stages.
Yes. Because who came out of our group? It was...
I'll get to that.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. My bad.
So, Argentina were also eliminated at the group stages, and as I said, South Korea, one of the hosts of the tournament, famously made the semi-finals.
Mad.
So then moving on to England. England were drawn in what was known at the time as the Group of Death, alongside Sweden, Argentina and Nigeria. So England's campaign, we started off with a 1-1 draw against Sweden, goal from Big Sol Campbell.
It was, wasn't it?
Ironically, if you want to say, he actually scored England's last goal in France 98. Should have been allowed, but anyway. And our first goal in 2002.
Sol stepped up quite a lot, to be fair. So, I mean, Arsenal's Champions League, only Champions League final goal as well, Sol Campbell.
Yeah, it was very good. It was actually a very good partnership, Sol Campbell and Rio Ferdinand at the back. You know, it was a really good,
and Rio was
really good defence. We had Rio, Campbell, Gary Neville, and Ashley Cole.
I don't think Campbell gets talked about enough as like
Gary,
one of the best England.
So that was one where Gary Neville was he got announced for the squad, but then he got injured and was replaced by Danny Mills.
That was it, yeah.
And then I think it was in centre midfield as well. I think it might have been Gerrard, and he got injured, and then he was replaced by
Trevor Sinclair.
No, somebody else replaced him, and they got injured,
really?
and then were replaced by Trevor Sinclair.
We did well to get that far.
Yeah, Trevor Sinclair playing that tournament was actually he was immense.
Yeah,
he was a great player.
Trevor Sinclair, so
really good player.
Yeah, so then we drew 0-0 with Nigeria, which, you know, from watching it live was an awful game.
I still remember that to this day.
And I think
that's the game where I had the
that
red
was
in
the
my
one,
hair.
and that was the one where Nigeria had literally the luminous green kit. And then obviously the famous game, Sapporo Dome, Argentina, Maurizio Pochettino fouling, fouling Michael Owen.
Did he dive? He didn't dive. But I remember that being
well,
a question at the
it's
time.
Pochettino, so.
Did he have was it like a mullet? His hair was quite.
Yeah, I think it was like one of those where he had it.
Headband.
Had a headband thing in. So yeah, little bit of knowledge there. Pochettino gave away the penalty, which David Beckham stepped up, smashed home. Makes you wonder, would he have taken one in '98 if he hadn't got sent off? And you know, as a youngster then, 4 years on from that, stepping up, big moment.
But I think that was part of why he took it.
Yeah,
you know.
And as well, there has been, again, I think they can't later, but there has been other big occasions where Beckham stepped up to take a penalty and missed. So
exactly.
I don't think there's any guarantees with that.
Yeah, so then we moved on. After we got out of the group, from that, beating Argentina 1-0, we went on to the round of 16, where we faced Denmark. We won that game 3-0.
It was 3-0, there you go.
Rio Ferdinand, Michael Owen, and the best striker England ever had, Emil Heskey, on the score sheet.
You know what, at this point, Heskey hadn't got to his, what it became like a meme level player, where people were like, now it's kind of a meme.
That partnership though, like that Owen and Heskey partnership was generally quite...
He was
lethal for us at a point.
Yeah, because it was literally the tail end of so I think Shearer had just retired. Sheringham, from international football at least. Yeah. Sheringham, I think he was on the peripheries of it.
He was still. I don't think he played.
He may have been in the squad, but
I think he might have been. He was definitely in the squad for qualifying. I can't remember if he made the tournament or not.
Yeah, because he appears in a famous moment that we're going to touch on later on. Yes. But yeah, so definitely he was in the build up to it. I think Robbie Fowler was also an option.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Emil Heskey.
That's some great strikers.
Heskey and Owen. You know, I think they work well. Big man, little
Owen,
man.
I think Owen is underappreciated as well because of certain things of him in the media and the way he left team to team to team and all stuff that's come up recently with Shearer and Newcastle. But as a player, and I watched an interview of Rio recently, where he was saying people underestimate him as well, and I agree. I think Owen is one of the best.
I think people forget just how good he was.
Yeah, I mean, alright, there's the injuries and all that, but even around the injuries, he still came in and did a job for England all the time.
I've always thought just throwing he's injury prone, as an excuse to sort of write off a player is always quite really unfair because not everyone can help that
No, and he's got a great record for England as well, as far
Yeah,
as
of course.
goals go. And
It's a bit like Ledley King, though. I think if he stayed fit, he was one of England's
He was a great centre-back.
best defenders.
He was like a natural replacement for Sol Campbell. I always thought Ledley King. It was just a shame that he
I mean, even if they wanted to go three at the back, they could have gone Campbell, Ferdinand, and King. Or Ledley could have played just in front, but. Anyway, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah.
We're going to go through that a lot in this.
Exactly. So then, now we move on to the quarter-final, which was where England ultimately met their match. Brazil beating us 2-1. We actually went 1-0 up in that game. Michael Owen scoring in the 23rd minute. Rivaldo equalising just before half-time. And then Ronaldinho with a shanked cross in the 50th minute. Going straight over David Seaman, who must have got distracted by the sun or his ponytail or something like that. And not really one that David's going to want to watch back too often. But
was that his last tournament for England as well?
Yeah, I think so.
That's an awful way to go out, isn't it?
But, we can't obviously discredit David Seaman too much. He had some brilliant moments in an England shirt. He was, before the 2018 World Cup, he was actually the last England goalkeeper to save a penalty at a World Cup.
Well, I was going to say, actually, when you really think back at, no disrespect to the goalies we've had since, but I don't think we've ever had a rock as good as that since Seaman, really. Hart had some good years, don't get me wrong, with Man City.
Yeah.
We laugh and joke about his recent years.
When Hart was at his peak, he was a quality
He looked like he was getting there.
I think James had his moments.
I feel the same way. I think
don't think David James is nowhere near as bad as some people make him out to be.
No, I think he had his moments.
I suppose as well, it all depends on that rapport that they have with the defenders as well.
Yeah.
Good goalkeeper always helps that they have good centre backs.
Yeah.
Like when Seaman was coming into it, he had Tony Adams and stuff. So he had that relationship as well from Arsenal. And then when they had the younger generation, had Sol Campbell. Was Sol at Arsenal at the time as well, 2002?
He would have been. Yeah.
So he would have played with him at club level as well. But so we're not going to obviously call out Seaman and be like it was your fault because we had chances to win the game, we had chances to get back in the game, and
I think it's like the Beckham thing. When Beckham got and obviously he got slated way too much for that '98 thing, burning effigies and all that nonsense and hanging things. But at that time, Beckham was still a young unknown prospect, really.
Exactly.
Whereas Seaman, this happened at the tail end of his career, and so you can look back on it. I think he didn't get as much flack as Beckham did because even back then people were like, which we'll get to 96 and penalties and like you say.
I think it probably helped that Brazil did obviously end up, going on to win the whole thing because I think it would have been unfair to beat Seaman too hard with that because. Ultimately, they more than likely would have gone on to win the game regardless.
Yeah,
just through, like I said, it's the players they had.
Sheer quality they had in the team.
Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Ronaldo, as a front three.
To be fair, if that team doesn't go on and beat teams, you're going to be asking questions.
Exactly.
And it leads in obviously to
hold on,
Seaman as well.
It's not your fault, mate.
Not your fault, Dave.
It's all right.
We love you, safe hands.
It's all right.
Big love for Seaman. That's a bit dodgy. So, as we've touched on, Brazil won the final, beating Germany 2-0. Ronaldo, not that one, scoring both goals. He was the top scorer in that tournament as well, scoring 8 goals. So, now we're just going to go through quickly some stats from that tournament. So, it was the last ever World Cup to use the golden goal format.
Was it?
It was.
Was that the same tournament? I'm sure it was that one. It might have been maybe a following Euros or World Cup. But I think it was that tournament. I think they actually considered changing the penalty shootout laws because I'm pretty sure someone had went for a heart attack during a penalty shootout in that tournament. I don't know if it was a Japan fan or a Korean fan or something. I'm sure.
I thought you meant a player. Okay.
No. It was just,
I was like, whoa.
Someone in the stadium or someone watching
Might have
the
just
game
been
behind
their
them.
age.
That's stressful.
Yeah, there is also that.
Penalties are stressful. But
I do kind of miss golden goal as a rule, though.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Because it's so tense.
Yeah.
I still like playing it on games and even retro games as well. But just that feeling
in the
of
playground. Next goal wins.
Yeah, it does.
Because I remember they changed it to. I'm going off on a tangent, but I remember they changed it from golden goal. Then it was silver goal, which was if you score in the first half and then the other team doesn't, but you're winning at half time, then that's game over.
That's ridiculous.
Which is just silly.
Weird,
it's a bit like.
And now it's just
Yeah, a total change of stuff as well. It's a bit like in the Carabao Cup, like I think it's the away goals or something only kick
Matters
in
after extra time.
Extra
So
time.
what's the point?
Yeah, stupid. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, good memories that.
So we also in
Bring
this
it back.
saw the fastest ever World Cup goal, which was 10.8 seconds. Hakan Suka scoring for Turkey in the third place playoff against South Korea.
cool.
Yeah.
South Korea kicked off and then he went on and scored. Brazil became the first country since Argentina in 1986 to win the tournament, having not needed a penalty shootout at any point during the competition. And they were also the first team to win every single game at a World Cup.
Oh wow.
They did, didn't they? Yeah.
That
They were
team-
good, weren't they?
They were all
very
right.
good.
And helps as well when you got someone like Cafu, who became the first player to play in 3 successive World Cup finals. And he was captain at this tournament and lifted the trophy for Brazil. So, yeah.
Cafu, Roberto Carlos.
Cafu, Roberto Carlos, was it Junior, Baiano,
Yeah, Gilberto Silva, I think, may have been in that side as well.
Cleberson.
Peak, weren't they? Yeah, the peak of Brazilian football.
We do also, I feel we also do have to touch on, because it was that World Cup as well, the Brazil-Turkey game where the guy kicked the ball at Rivaldo.
Oh, when it hit him in the leg and he went down.
holding his face. This iconic moment of shit.
And now they've got it in Neymar.
There we go. What is it about the Brazil number 10s? Right, so number 4. Feels like we've gone on forever with number 5. But number 4, it's one that we're not going to really know much about. We were like, I was just over a year old when this happened.
Okay.
And that is World Cup 1990.
I wasn't even born.
Right, okay, I was wondering. Yeah.
This is why we need Michelle here.
She's not going to like that comment, Dan.
She's not here. Her choice to be in Ukraine rather than being here.
Yeah, well, you know.
So, World Cup 1990 happened in Italy. Memorable
I've seen a lot of
moments for it.
documentaries.
There's a lot of, there were some memorable
that
moments for
during-
this. There was the debut World Cup for Costa Rica, Republic of Ireland, and the United Arab Emirates.
Ireland were really good back then.
They
and
were.
USA 94. And was it Euro 88 they qualified for as well? Yeah.
I think so.
They were good.
And 2002 were they? Yeah, the 2002 World Cup they were in as well.
Yeah.
Wasn't that when Roy Keane and Mick McCarthy had the big Barney?
crap.
Yeah. Oops. Keane never wanted to mince his words. Yeah, Cameroon had some brilliant performances in that, and England's Paul Gascoigne, big shout out to Gaza, made team of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, he was unbelievable in that, wasn't he?
He was quality.
Yeah. I mean, we were lucky enough to watch him in '96 in the Euros as well, which we'll get to. But
and '98 he was a squad player.
but like for '90, he was just
He was different
watching
level.
back on some of those clips of him. Like,
You know, so 1990, England were drawn in a group with Republic of Ireland, who we drew 1-1 with, Gary Lineker scoring, Netherlands, who we drew 0-0 with, and then Egypt, who we beat 1-0 with a goal from Mark Wright. Not the one from the only way as This was the big
Palace?
ginger fella who
Yeah.
played for Liverpool.
Did he play for Palace? No, that's the.
Mark Bright.
That's Ian Wright,
Yeah.
mate.
No. Yeah, Bright.
Well,
that's
it's-
the
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Right,
different
right.
variations.
Yeah.
So yeah, the round of 16, we actually this was actually quite strange because looking through the knockout phase of this tournament, every single one of them went to extra time, so we never won a knockout game here in normal time. So round of 16, we beat Belgium 1-0 after extra time with David Platt scoring. Cameroon, we beat 3-2, that famous one where Gary Lineker did a doo-doo on the pitch.
I was that game.
had a crap on the pitch and disguised it. But yeah, he scored 2 penalties in that game. David Platt also scored. We won 3-2 after extra time. And then, as usual, England losing to the Germans on penalties.
Yeah.
Semi-final. Gary Lineker scored. Game ended 1-1. Got to penalties. Gary Lineker, Peter Beardsley, David Platt all stepped up and scored. And then, ironically, the last 2 penalties, 2 left-footed players, Chrissy Waddle, Stuart Pearce. Unfortunately, one smashed it over the bar and the other one, goalkeeper, made a decent save. We then went on as well to rub salt in the wounds, to lose the third place playoff match.
Which no one wants.
Italy 2-1. David Platt scored in that one. And yeah, West Germany then went on to beat Argentina 1-0 in the final. And you've probably realised with some of them games how low some of the scores were, which ironically it was one of the worst for goals scored.
Did Lineker get the golden boot that one?
No.
What's the year that he got a golden boot?
It was, I don't know, but this one might have been the year 86 probably. Yeah, top goal scorer was Italian Salvatore Schillaci. Sorry if I've butchered that. With 6 goals. Statistics for this tournament. This was the last tournament to feature East Germany and West Germany after it became unified. As regarded as one of the poorest World Cups in terms of games, like they were quite like tactical, boring games. Yeah. There was the first ever red card in a final too, and I believe the first ever one. I was going to say I thought it was the only one, but Zidane obviously. Of course, yeah. 06 when he nutted Matteo Materazzi.
I watched that clip the other day as well. Oh.
But yeah, so first ever World Cup, and just a random one. Seems as we talk about kits quite a bit. This tournament was the last one where the referees wore only black for the entire tournament. Right. There's only 2 games where they didn't wear black, and that was in Scotland games where Scotland wore navy blue shirts. Right. So obviously in more recent years, the referees have worn different colours, so not to clash. But yeah, this is when, obviously there's the famous chant, "Who's the in the black?" Yeah, that's probably where that came from, because the referees would always wear black.
I like the old ref black shirts.
Italy had a record of 6 wins and 1 draw. Only game that they drew, they lost on penalties. That was actually the highest ever winning percentage for a team that didn't then go on to win the World Cup. Wow. So they didn't lose a game in normal time. They only lost on penalties. So yeah, we didn't really touch on that one much, but that's...
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's any other points. Obviously, Gaza crying.
Yeah, that's like the big
crying. That's like one
of the big iconic moments.
Because he wouldn't have played the final, but we didn't get there anyway.
Yeah,
but,
I bet he was gutted. He was really gutted just missing out on the 3rd and 4th place playoff match. That's all it was.
I suppose you feel like if you feel like you're potentially letting your country down. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Especially after playing so well.
Yeah.
But it's Lineker's reaction gets me every time.
The point
on the pitch.
No, but I think that kind of, again, talking about people that kind of could be looked at as the ones that let us down. The fact that you could see how much it meant to him. Yeah. I think that's what kind of saved him a bit there.
I think he was only young at the time as well, I suppose. Yeah. Then at the opposite end of the scale, you had Peter Shilton, who was like 40. It was his last tournament, and
that's the thing as well.
Seaman was 3rd choice keeper for that one as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. You've seen more tournaments down the years where things haven't gone that well, and players have been accused of not really caring that much. So I think.
It's nice to actually see them.
You see that actually do care, and they do. It does matter. To them, so.
And obviously, got to touch on Bobby Robson as well. Yeah, being our manager, widely probably considered our 2nd best manager of all time after Ramsey, obviously for winning it. But just
big shout out.
By all accounts, great guy, great manager. You see what he, see of him and Gaza, the relationship they had, almost like a father and something. And he looks cool in that grey suit, doesn't he? With his nice silver hair, It's
one of those managers, I think, where he just commanded respect from all of his
it doesn't matter who you support either. I think everybody respects him as a manager, Whereas you get a lot of people being like, oh, he's got the such and such stain. I don't know, maybe Sunderland's fans feel differently.
I don't know. I mean, you look at what he did in his career, especially going to Barcelona, and you look at even someone like Jose Mourinho.
Mourinho worked under him.
Yeah, would Mourinho be the manager that he is today, or...
Guardiola
was a few years ago.
Guardiola didn't play under him. I think a young Guardiola.
I think a very young
played,
one, maybe.
In the late teens.
Yeah, but no, he's an absolute legend in the game.
Yeah,
sadly missed.
Sleep well, Sir Bobby. So number 3, we have Euro '96.
Ah, beautiful. The debut of the famous song as well, the Three Lions song,
which ironically wasn't even the actual like
official song
for the tournament. That was actually done by Mick Hucknall. So there was another one, yeah.
Mate, you couldn't date it anymore in 96, could you? Yeah. There was also a, was it 98? The Spice Girls did a song.
Yeah, I think so, something like that. But yeah, so we have obviously England were the host to it for that tournament. Yeah, it was for me the first like major tournament that I watched. Obviously England were drawn in a group alongside Switzerland, Scotland and Holland. Yeah. And, you know, Switzerland at the time managed by Roy Hodgson.
Wow, okay.
Bit of trivia there. We drew 1-1 in that game. Alan Shearer scored.
Yeah, and then probably ran off like that.
Yeah, ran off like that. Don't get celebrations like that. None of this silly like flippy dippy doodahs. Just ran their hand up in the air. Which is a celebration that he actually repeated in the following game when he banged in the first goal against Scotland before David Seaman elbowed a penalty over the bar from Gary Mack.
You know what? Shearer's another player. I think people are forgetting how good he was for England.
Yeah,
you know?
I think he retired from international football way too early. You know, he would have gone on and smashed Lineker's record without a shadow of a doubt.
I think in
Premier League's all-time leading scorer as well.
I think in terms of being underestimated or underappreciated, I think especially in sort of the younger generation where they've only seen Shearer as a pundit.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's like, I think it's similar to the Michael Owen.
And a lot of stuff you hear about him is in the Premier League as well. Yeah. If they do hear anything, there's not much of like.
If you go back and look at like even just his goals for Newcastle or just his goals like he was an unbelievable striker, and I think Harry Kane's probably the closest we've got to having someone as prolific. I mean, I know there's obviously an obvious player there who's up there, but in terms of that sort of striker who just scores goals.
Yeah.
And I think the thing I liked about Shearer as well was he scored all types of goals.
Yeah.
Alan Shearer could smash one in from 25 yards. He could head them. He could, score tap-ins where nowadays you get so many strikers will want to go beat 3 or 4 players and then try and like chip one in the top corner.
Yeah, and we've had players who it's like, they're a striker, but we'll play them in midfield, we'll play them on the wing. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Alan Shearer was just an out-and-out forward.
Yeah,
I think, you had Terry Venables in that tournament was just like, okay, we're going to play every game 4-4-2. You know, you had the young up-and-coming Gary Neville playing right back with experience on the other side of Stuart Pearce. There was, Southgate and Adams at centre-back would play pretty much the whole tournament for England. Seaman in goal with the brilliant goalkeeper shirts that he had in that tournament. There was
96 and 2002 goalkeeper shirts are probably my favourite from England.
They were
actually. Really nice.
That black one
in 2002.
Black one was really nice. Yeah, I had
the 96 ones for the wild style. They're cool.
I remember. I think it might have been 2004, but I had one that was the black one and it had like red and black leopard print.
I had that one as well. That was really good.
Super.
I didn't really like that one.
Super nice shirt. So yeah. England beat Scotland in the second group game 2-0.
It was a cool group, man. We did well in that group. And the Netherlands as well. So
Gascoigne obviously scoring a very famous famous goal as well and a famous celebration. Yeah, and then we went on and we beat a very good Holland team actually on paper. Like you look, I suppose. In 96, you may not have necessarily known about many of the players, but then in the subsequent years,
what they became.
The likes of Van der Sar was in the team. Danny Blind, who was Daley's father.
It's like you had the point there.
So they had a load of like up and coming players. I think Bergkamp was probably young. Was he? Did he make the squad?
Bergkamp was there. Yeah.
Was that the same time with the famous? The Bergkamp with the famous commentary.
Danny Bergkamp!
Yeah.
I think it was actually. When he does when it chips over to him from far,
it's like the first touch. He was
unbelievable.
So we beat Holland 4-1. Shearer and Sheringham that's another great strike partnership.
Shearer and Sheringham. Love Teddy Sheringham.
What a strike partnership that was.
I met him once at Canary Wharf with the Premier League trophy, which I took a picture of him and. I was glad that he only ever won it with Man United and not Tottenham, so therefore I could take the picture. I was like, there's a trophy. There's Sheringham, who I like for England. So here's the dilemma, but he never won it for Tottenham. So this would be fun if I stand there.
Obviously, there's the famous song, Oh Teddy Teddy, come to Man U and he won the treble. Oh Teddy Teddy went back to Tottenham and he won...
Yeah.
Nothing. There we go.
We've got a lot of time to take a shot.
So then we go to quarterfinals. We drew 0-0 with Spain. Not the best game.
Nice kit. They had a nice kit back then.
But something did happen that we're not used to as England fans. We won a penalty shootout, boys.
Cool.
We won a penalty shootout.
Which is weird because that kind of sets us up as if to
Yeah.
feel like we're going to do this.
You know, David
we
Seaman.
can do penalty shootouts, no problem.
Seaman saved 2 in that
Yeah.
shootout. You know, Shearer, Platt, Pearce and Gascoigne all stepped up. Stuart Pearce put in the hoodoo of the World Cup in 1990 behind him.
Yeah.
So it was Stuart Pearce's first time stepping up to take a penalty. I remember his celebration. Psycho screaming. So yeah, and then we get onto the semi-final, which was England in the famous grey kit at Wembley against Germany.
Wembley as well.
Drew 1-1. Alan Shearer's scoring quite early on, I think, in that game actually as well. And then deep into extra time, Paul Gascoigne within a stud's length pretty much of converting. If he'd have scored that, who knows what could have happened. But, you know, the whole of England was behind them at that point. You know, Gaza just missing.
Well, touching on that point, actually, I think so. It would have been 7. So the real, you know, really starting to get into football at this point. And yeah, it's that first experience of everyone watching football, and England, like we were saying, like, you know, before casual fans get into it and stuff like that for the major tournaments. But yeah, I remember like going out on the balcony where I lived, and you know, just seeing through the other flats and stuff, the TV on, and people going outside freaking out because they can't watch the penalties and stuff like that. And like the whole tournament, really, like even just everyone talking about football, all your mates talking about football you're playing on the street with, you know, like, and you know, your cousins coming around, and you know, I remember watching vividly the England-Scotland game. It's just great.
I was in Cyprus on holiday watching that. I remember we went to a bar. Obviously, I was like 7 or 8. So don't judge me, guys.
Proper English holiday.
I remember, I was with my dad and we went to a bar, and there was one of the waitresses in the bar was actually from Scotland, and I remember just walking into this bar. I was actually sat on my dad's shoulders, and we were singing like to obviously the tune of Flower of Scotland. Her name was Bonnie. So it was like, oh, Bonnie, Scotland, we beat you again, poor things. And that was probably one of my memories of Euro 96, actually. But yeah, as we say, England,
Where
Germany.
did you watch the final? Do you remember that? Was you back
the
home?
final? Yeah.
Semi-final.
Semi-final, yeah.
We never made it.
Back home,
It felt like a final.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we drew 1-1. Alan Shearer, Gascoigne obviously missing. And then got to penalties. The same 4 that scored in the previous one stepped up, all did the business again, as did Teddy Sheringham. Then, unfortunately, the only penalty that was missed at the entire shootout, well, I say missed, it was saved, was the now England manager Gareth Southgate.
So who did he take the place of from the previous penalty shootout?
No one.
So he scored against Spain.
Ooh, Southgate?
Yeah.
No, because we only took 4 against Spain.
Oh yeah, of course.
So Sheringham would have took the 5th against Spain. So Sheringham took so it was basically Shearer, Platt, Pearce and Gascoigne in that order took against Spain. Then the same 4 took in that order against Germany.
But we got to the 5th is what it was. Okay,
because we'd already beaten Spain 4-2.
It's a strange choice though, looking back, for a defender.
Well, I think
to be taken.
From what I remember, like people who, so my dad has got that game on VHS, like the full game. So I remember, like, obviously years after getting into watching it and stuff. But I know people who, like, around the time watching it, I think they said that like there were players who bottled out of
taking it, and he steps up.
I think Paul Ince might have been one of them.
Yeah.
Who turned around and said he didn't want to take one.
Should have said the same in '98.
Yeah, it's like, but you know, I think it's obviously a horrible thing to be the only player to miss, and you know, the thing is to be that player that again is sort of responsible for your team going out. But at the same time, you all you can do is sort of go, yeah, I'll take one. Like you got to do is step up and actually have the guts to go and do it.
The thing for me is like I've got to give him obviously credit for having the balls to step up and take it in front of like 90,000 people.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's he done what some players don't do as well. He actually hit the target. He made the goalkeeper make a save. Yeah. So we can't.
It's luck of the draw, isn't it? Like
it's just one of those. If the keeper goes the right way, he's got a chance of saving it. If the keeper had gone the wrong way, he could have scored. It could have been somebody else that was sitting here talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking if centre half's going to step up and take a penalty, I would have much rather Tony Adams step up. As England captain, I'd have thought surely your captain would be like, no, I'm going to take. I'm going to take responsibility
it goes down
and take
to
it.
who backs out. We don't
depends.
really know, but Yeah, like you say, someone else could have been in that Pizza Hut advert as well. Then,
Exactly.
You know,
I can't see Tony Adams wanting to do that too
put,
much.
put a bag over his head and all that nonsense. Yeah.
So yeah, obviously the Germans beat us and then went on to beat Czech Republic 2-1 in the final. Oliver Bierhoff scoring the golden goal, and then the Queen presenting the Germans with the trophy, which better was gutted. I'm sure she kept Philip away from from the ground that day. So yeah, top goal scorer there was Alan Shearer with 5.
No surprise, really. Yeah.
So yeah, this was the first tournament that had 16 teams. 1992 only had 8. The famous one where Denmark came off the beach to win the tournament. They weren't actually qualified for it. There were 2 extra groups, extra knockout stage. There was no third place playoff in this one as well, which was the same as in 1962, 66 and 70 World Cups. And it was actually Germany's first major tournament win as a unified nation. Wow. So obviously they were East and West Germany.
Yeah, in previous.
Beforehand. So yeah. So we're now in the top 2. So number 2 was the one that's most fresh in our minds, which was the World Cup of 2018, hosted by Russia. Memorable moments: England winning a penalty shootout,
Beautiful.
Spain losing to Russia on penalties, controversial use of VAR in the final, football almost came home, the Ronaldo game, 3-3 against Spain, Messi having a penalty saved against Iceland, and because we're English fans, we got to celebrate. The Germans went out in the bloody group stages.
But that amazing free kick though, at a tight angle. Who was it scored that again?
Cruz.
I think it might have been. Yeah, that was great.
And goal of the tournament was actually Benjamin Pavard.
That was a great goal. When it went like that.
Goal, that was
a superb goal.
Yeah.
So yeah, England drawn in a group with Tunisia, who we beat 2-1. Harry Kane scoring twice. Panama, who not many people knew about, we beat him 6-1. John Stones getting 2.
Yeah.
Messi, Lingard scoring 1. not really done too much since.
Peak of his career, that was.
Yeah, and then Harry Kane scoring a hat-trick, 2 of them from the penalty spot, and then we lost to Belgium, not for the, for the first time in the tournament, losing to Belgium, 1-0.
Yeah. But that was a game.
Adnan Januzaj, so.
Yeah. That's the game where we both went with our B squads, kind of like
we both teams
feelers.
It was like both teams wanted to finish second in that
to get an easier game, I mean, and then we got Colombia, which was 1-1. Harry Kane scoring with a penalty, and then we won 4-3 on penalties.
Yeah. Pickford. So
yeah, Jordan Pickford becoming the first England goalkeeper at a World Cup to save a penalty since our man Dave Seaman, 1998. Who did he save it from? Hernan Crespo. That's the last player. So yeah, not a bad player actually, Hernan Crespo. And yeah, ironically, Eric Dyer stepping up to take the 5th penalty wasn't actually down to take it.
So kind of when we're talking about Southgate, we're thinking, why Southgate? But then I'd also be like, why Dyer? Like if he had missed it,
I do remember him walking up and just being like,
So yeah,
especially because Vardy was on the pitch and obviously taking penalties for Leicester, and people were like, well, what's happened? It turned out he actually got a calf injury or something during the game. So. Yeah, and I think historically I had seen him take some penalties. I think for Tottenham, in shootouts. So,
he could do it.
Yeah, it could. And the only player that missed, obviously, I've got to throw this out there: Liverpool player Jordan Henderson. Not one of my favourite players, I've got to admit, but it was nice to see him miss the penalty.
I feel like this tournament as a whole. Obviously, there's going to be. I feel like. There's slight bias because it's still fresh in our memories, but because I think this one in '90, people think, it's the same level. You got to the semi-finals, but it was just, I don't know, maybe it is living through it and just like really embracing this World Cup. Like we've mentioned it before on previous shows, and you've done the team of the tournament for World Cup as well. Check that out, guys. I loved everything about this World Cup. Like England were doing well. It was one of the best summers we've had in ages. Everyone was into it. Casual fans, no matter where you went. The videos online. Exactly. People dancing, singing in the streets,
dancing on top of cars.
Exactly. Coming out from against when we beat Sweden. I was in Shoreditch, and just even the bus drivers stopping, dancing, singing, everything was amazing. The police and like everybody got involved. And I remember even walking down, so we carried on. Obviously, you're walking, it's sunny, you're drinking, you've just won, and it's like, well, here's another bar, let's go in there. And we went there, and these two Swedish guys walked past us, and like obviously like the only Swedish people we saw, and I was just like, oh, guys, come here, man. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, oh, thank you, man. Like, we had this real moment. I was like, I'm sorry, guys. He was like, no, like, enjoy it, celebrate. And
It's like bringing the country together.
Yeah, like, it was honestly one of the best moments, like, not just World Cup moments, but, like, footballing moments for me. And great experiences. Just, like, obviously it didn't work out in the end in the semi. But, yeah, we watched that in the cinema, like,
that was the semi-final, wasn't it?
Just when that goal went in, the Trippier goal, everybody went mad. Obviously, that game, I don't want to bring it down too much, but that game we should have been better. We should have put that to bed in, once it got to the 60th minute, I knew we weren't going.
It was kind of like we took our foot off the gas, but so obviously a quarter-final we beat Sweden 2-0. Maguire and Dele Alli scoring there. And then semi-final, obviously, Croatia. We've not had much luck against Croatia historically.
No.
But yeah, they beat us 2-1 after extra time. Kieran Trippier scoring, and I think it was the 93rd minute or something they got the equaliser, which was, it's like we'd gone 1-0 up, and then it was like, okay, we'll take it. It's like instead of going on to try and score, we should have gone on.
Yeah.
To be fair, we could have gone on. We had the team that we could have actually gone on.
There was chances missed as well.
Plenty of chances.
Another thing that you mentioned earlier, actually, like the whole country get behind it. I think, the bad relationship with the media that had happened up until this point. I think this was the first time that Southgate and there was really good media training to make the players seem a bit more approachable and human. Like even like simple things like the meme of Maguire leaning on the. There was so much about this World Cup that just got everybody, and obviously the jokey thing that football's coming home because no one had expectations.
I think that's the thing. I remember that starting off. I think even just after we beat Tunisia. I remember that sort of being out there as sort of like a joke. And then obviously the Panama result. But it just it picked up, it sort of snowballed, didn't it? It just picked up loads of momentum. And then because I don't remember too much about really going into the tournament because of obviously you had the whole thing of Allardyce, obviously Southgate got the job, whole thing of Allardyce getting the job and then all the stuff that he got up to behind the scenes, which caused him to lose his job after one game.
And I was gutted when it happened because I thought he would be you know what? We was at a level where I thought that was our level as a manager.
Yeah, I was more than because I was like, we had to put up with 4 years of Sam Allardyce football with my club. I don't have to do my national team. But obviously with Southgate, he was such an unknown quantity. But there was just something you could see with the sort of players he was selecting. He wasn't just this sort of whole thing around before previous managers had with.
He's not picking them on.
Just picking. You play for Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea. You play for the top six.
And that's continued since, to be fair. As well,
and he actually was picking players that there seemed to be a system, there seemed to be a plan, there seemed to be an actual style of football, which I think I may have even said in the previous. Episode. We don't have a before we never had an identity in terms of football, how we played. But Southgate brought that, and I think. Just like you said, a lot of things led to that. Was the weather was so good, and it was other aspects in the country wasn't great, and I think just having the football just to bring everyone together and take everyone's mind off, everything else was massive.
And even like Southgate getting his own song.
And just the waistcoat and everything.
Yeah, the waistcoat.
Marks and Spencer's literally sold out of waistcoats.
There
are other shops available.
To be perfectly honest, going into that tournament, I didn't think having the nation behind the England football team like that again was really ever going to be possible because of so long.
We've gone through a really bad spell when you
look back. Since 2004, I'd say. Since the year 2004, I think it just seems to get worse and worse.
And people didn't care about England. People didn't want to watch it. I've always kind of wanted to rally around England, but I just found it hard. And 2018, I was so excited. And I think things like Southgate, going back to him, working with the youth previously. And even what he went through in '96 to know, look, I've been there and I've been that guy. So he kind of could prepare the team for you might be that guy. And I think that gave them a fearless kind of way to go about it.
It was the first
except for in the semi.
It was the first time as well that an English side actually felt like a team,
together as
like
well.
an actual team, a squad. Like before, you've heard that you have Gerrard and Ferdinand saying about.
There's always like riffs, like club.
There's
riffs,
a Man United. There's a Man United.
Oh, you play for
table.
United. You play for Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's like this was just a whole
Well,
cohesive unit from
I remember
the get-go
Ferdinand
kind of thing.
in that interview being like, "Oh well, I didn't want to get too attached to people because I was challenging them for a league title." It's like you're on at the moment at that moment in time you're on duty to play for your country.
Yeah.
Like, that should be put to
Exactly.
the background. But obviously, because you have players from Leicester and from Tottenham and from who else was in there at the time, like. Well, just players from all over the league. I remember there was like who were being called. I think there was some Southampton players as well, maybe.
Nick Pope from Burnley.
Even Burnley.
Yeah. So it was like you had players there who didn't have that
experience.
Yeah, like this was their moment.
Rivalry. Yeah,
you know, like because they weren't going to win the league. All right, Leicester had done it, but like other than that, a lot of these players, this, especially at that point in their careers, this is the time to do something and to change. And I really do think, like you kind of touched on, it changed England. The way I look at England now, like the Nations League, I've been excited about that.
Yeah.
Euro 2020, I can't wait.
Really
you know, so
like I'm actually watching the qualifying games again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you get back to that kind of every England thing matters. You know, whereas before it was like. Even the group stages in the tournaments were a bit like, if we get through.
Yeah. Whereas
you know.
I remember before that, like, if we got knocked out to Iceland, like, obviously as bad as that was, just sort of being like, of course.
That was like the kick. I think that was the kick
that
up
was
the
the
arse
low
of
point,
country.
wasn't it? Yeah, that was the low point.
So, for that one, France won it. Top goal scorer was Harry Kane. Now,
nice to have that as well.
I think in terms of just overall World Cups, I think that's been one of the best World Cups.
Yeah, the World Cup in
long
general,
time as well,
like the giant killings, you know, the
VAR was fun.
Yeah,
like,
it was interesting. It was all new, it was so exciting.
And that France side were just again,
they were really good,
so good. Even that Croatia team as well. To be fair, like I remember getting that draw and people were like. Well, I see we're in the final. It's like have you seen their midfield?
Yeah.
Was it Rakitic, Modric, and
Perisic?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. It's just like that midfield walks into our team like every day of the week.
So we got the stats for this tournament. We had this was the first tournament that incorporated VAR, and the first goal that was awarded by VAR, Diego Costa against Portugal. First penalty awarded was for France against Australia. There's actually a record number of penalties awarded in the tournament as well, which was apparently partially attributed to VAR. There was 12 own goals scored,
for England.
which was doubling the previous record of 6 from 1998. In the entire tournament, there's only 4 red cards, doubling, which is the lowest since 1978. This is apparently attributed to VAR, since the players knew they wouldn't be able to get away with too much. So that's the stats for that. Before we get on to number 1, we have a couple of honourable mentions, which were from 1997. There was a little tournament called Le Tournoi.
To prepare us for 98?
It was, there's only 4 teams in it. England, France, Brazil, and Italy.
That's a good lineup, to be fair.
Yeah, it's the famous tournament where Roberto Carlos scored that incredible banana kick, which started out about 5 yards outside the post and then just somehow bent in at the last minute. But it was actually won by England. So we've not just won the one trophy, we have actually won 2, if you class it as that. And then the other honourable mention, which was a suggestion from Mike, when that was Euro 2004.
Yeah, I thought.
Good memories.
I tried. Well, it was difficult that one. So again, that was just after getting into football and stuff. But I thought that was. People talk about the golden generation of England. I think that squad in particular with Rooney coming through and being unbelievable in that tournament.
Yeah, he was so young then.
That was the one in Portugal, wasn't it? Portugal-Greece final.
Yes, and
Greece Greece won it.
Greece to
that's
win it, which is mental.
Especially looking back, it was weird then, but it's weirder now.
Yeah.
Didn't they face each other in the group stage?
So
they were in the same group as well, weren't they?
Yeah. They beat him the opening game of the tournament and then beat him again in the final.
Yeah,
mental. But I think with that tournament as well, there was just so many good moments that I still remember. So it was our first game in that tournament was against France. I remember 1-0 up for the majority of the game, and then Zidane scoring in the 91st and 93rd minute, 1 free kick and 1 penalty, which was heartbreaking.
Painful, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Beckham skied a penalty in that game as well. I'm pretty sure against Barthez.
Was that the one where he slipped?
It's been a few. He's done that a few times.
Did it against Turkey as well?
It was Turkey in the qualifier, but I remember he missed a penalty against Barthez, I think, in that game as well.
Yeah, possibly.
But also the game we got knocked out in the first knockout stage against Portugal.
Ricardo when he took his gloves off to take
Yeah,
the winning
and
penalty.
I just remember us playing so well in that game, and again, you sort of that little bit of belief, like, oh, we're actually going to do it, but then held a Postiga of all people, who did nothing for Tottenham all season, scored with like 5 minutes left.
It's always the way.
It was like the
I think Beckham missed in that shootout as well.
what was the one where the geezer, was it Eder for Portugal? Was it?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
when they won Euros in 2016.
Yeah, was he like
Yeah.
Swansea?
Yeah, did nothing for
reject
Swansea.
or
something.
Like just bangs
Yeah.
that in the Euro final.
I mean, even talking about Portugal, obviously they're the ones that knocked us out in 06. That's a great tournament as well. Could have got in this summer. You know, that is the golden generation, really.
Yeah.
The whole wink of Ronaldo. And another one, France 98, great tournament, great memories. Just like Euro 96, 98 is one of those where I really have fond memories as well. The Michael Owen goal. Obviously, I love a bit of France 98 as well. But,
David Beckham.
yeah, that's sad. You know. Well, he was doing well up until that point, to be fair. But yeah, great moments.
Great video game as well.
Great
Road
game.
to FIFA, Road to World Cup 98. Yeah.
Look, great stuff, man. Yeah, 98 and 2006, I'm in an iron about being one of my fifth choice, but went with 2002 in the end. But yeah. I wonder what's number one.
Yeah.
Number one.
It'd be that Iceland defeat, I imagine.
So if we're talking about famous World Cup moments or famous England tournament moments, we can't do that without mentioning the only one that England have won. The World Cup in 1966. Ironically, another one that none of us were alive for.
Yeah.
I think my dad wasn't even born. My mum was probably 3 years old at the time. So, the host of the tournament, England.
Yeah.
Winners of the tournament, England. So, memorable moments from this tournament. Portugal and North Korea actually qualified for the tournament for the very last time up until Portugal next qualified for it in 1986. So it took 20 years
Whoa.
to...
You wouldn't imagine that. Like now, when you look at Portugal.
Yeah, Portugal's sort of synonymous with just being that team who always qualifies.
And the fact that Eusebio was the top goal scorer as well with 9 goals.
Yeah.
And they didn't qualify again until 1986.
North Korea as well, that tournament, England kind of adopted them as their second team, didn't they? I think it was
Yeah.
North Korea, because they didn't really have any fans come over.
Yeah.
And it was their last, and it was
Really
their
liked
last,
them.
yeah, it's their
Yeah.
last
People
one
loved
since 2010 as well. Switzerland as well, 1994, the next time they qualified for the World Cup. So notable absentees from it were the 1962 semi-finalist Yugoslavia and the 1962 runners-up Czechoslovakia. So all of the African nations actually boycotted the tournament to protest a 1964 FIFA ruling which required the 3 second-round winners from the African zone to enter a playoff round against the winners of the Asian zone. And they felt that winning their zone was enough to merit qualification for the tournament.
I'd say that's fair enough.
You know,
Goes back to that argument of like which
Exactly.
areas are that strong. Same as like Champions League when we mentioned on that. You know, should certain leagues get 4 places and should only some of them get 2?
Yeah, it's
but
like we've touched on in the Champions League ones and stuff as well.
yeah.
So. And then obviously Pickles the Dog. The actual, so if you don't know the backstory to that, the World Cup trophy was actually stolen from an exhibition display. So the English FA rushed around, made a replica of it in case it wasn't found in time for the tournament. It was by a dog wrapped in newspaper. It was found by a dog called Pickles, and
Such an English story.
and the replica that was made now sits in the National Football Museum in Manchester, along with the collar from Pickles the Dog.
See, as well, because then FIFA thought they were buying back the real one at one point as well.
Yeah.
And no, because it went missing again, didn't it, after this?
And
And then
it's
FIFA
never
thought,
been found.
yeah, and it's
That's why
never
they had
been
to make a
found.
new one.
And then FIFA thought they bought it back, but they didn't. And that's a replica as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what a weird period.
So,
And we have a reputation for having trophies go missing here, because a shop in Birmingham had the Aston Villa FA Cup winning, the trophy, and that got nicked as well. The original FA Cup. Never been found.
tea leaves.
Yeah.
So, this is actually quite strange, actually. So, interesting stats from this was that the opening game took place on the 11th of July. It's like the latest, with the exception of the first tournament, every other World Cup's commenced in either May or June. Final was on the 30th of July, and was actually the 36th anniversary of the first ever final, which also remains the latest date any World Cup has concluded. The reasoning? was because of scheduling commitments from the BBC. They had to cover Wimbledon from the 20th of June to the 2nd of July.
Then again, it's still dictating us now, isn't it, with the Premier League?
And the Open Golf Championships from the 6th to the 9th of July. So they couldn't start showing the World Cup until after that. And obviously there was no secondary TV channel back then, so there was no ITV to show anything. So it was just the BBC. So, England. We got drawn in a group alongside Uruguay, Mexico and France. Uruguay we drew 0-0. Mexico we then beat 2-0. Bobby Charlton and Roger Hunt scoring. And then we beat France 2-0. Roger Hunt scoring twice there. Quarterfinals. There was no round of 16 at this point. So quarterfinal, done the RGs, didn't we? 1-0. Jeff Hurst.
Sir Jeff Hurst.
Sir Jeff Hurst, there we go. Scoring his first goal of the tournament. Wouldn't be his last, as West Ham fans won't let us forget. Bobby Charlton, Sir Bobby Charlton, if you want to play that. He scored twice. He scored twice to knock Portugal out in the semis when we beat them 2-1. And then the final. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened in that, actually. England beat Germany 4-2 after extra time. Goals from Martin Peters and 2.5, we'll say, from Jeff Hurst. England obviously winning that tournament. Jeff Hurst with the famous goal of did it cross the line, didn't it cross the line? There's actually a display of it, I think, in Wembley. I know when I went and did the tour of the old Wembley, you could actually go and vote whether you actually did think it crossed the line.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I
all
think
England fans go, yep.
in fairness, there was actually a stat that I saw, and 1 second, I've got it written down here. Here we go. So, the stat was that it was actually only 97% of the ball had crossed the line. So the whole of the ball didn't actually cross the whole of the line. We'll give it anyway.
Oh,
close enough.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sure the Germans benefited.
The Lampard goal in the end, didn't it? So
He was out eventually.
way over. I guess a little honourable mention as well. Our mascot, World Cup Willie. Name we probably wouldn't use these days. I don't think people
It means something totally different.
I don't think people saw the irony of names like Willie and Fanny back then. But World Cup Willie was cool, little mascot. We had a little line in Euro 96 as well. That was nice. Yeah. Who's going to be the mascot in 2020 if it's all over Europe? Have anyone seen that yet?
I think we better,
Boris Johnson.
It'd
just be someone with a big
Brexit
Brexit flag.
No, it'd be Southgate's waistcoat.
Just be a waistcoat, I didn't know we actually did so well at tournaments. You know, we've not done too bad. You know, quarterfinals, semi-finals. That one against Argentina, but yeah, we won't talk about that. So anyway, thank you so much, guys, for checking out episode 2. If you're liking what you see so far, stick around. Episode 3 is coming up, where we're going to be talking England moments. There may be some that we have touched on very slightly in this episode at certain tournaments. There are others that may not directly involve the tournaments. So there you have it, guys. That was our rundown of our top 5 England tournaments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave us a comment down below here. Whatever you're doing, just click on there. There'll be buttons either this side, that side. I don't know where they're going to come up. There'll be something that pops up for you to watch the other episodes. There we have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching episode number 2. Check out episode 3, where we're going to be talking England moments. We hope you enjoy.